Well, hi, Sean Smith here at the University of Kansas, the Department of Special Education. And when I think of AI, so many different things come into my mind. And of course, artificial intelligence has been with us for years. And in the special education world, we know so many students have benefited from co-writer or word prediction, which would be the generic term. And many of us know that as we start typing, words would generate, vocabulary lists would be available to the individual. They'd be able to hear it, they'd be able to see it, and of course, it would generate based on what the individual is typing. Yes, so artificial intelligence has been with us for a number of years. But now, post-November 2022, the artificial intelligence we tend to think of is ChatGPT and the generative language and the machine learning and a host of other things that goes on. And what I want to do is I want us to think about one aspect of artificial intelligence from an instructor perspective that's really altering the way that I would argue we think about inclusion. Now, yes, we could think about that inclusion for students with disabilities, and we could think about our students with anxiety, and our students with ADHD, our students with learning disabilities, our students with dyslexia. But we could also think about those struggling learners that will never be identified with a disability, and yet countless times we're being asked as educators to be able to plan and design for that variability. Now, there's lots of different ways to unpack that, but for the moment, what I would suggest is oftentimes, and I work with a lot of teachers, as many of us do, and oftentimes what we'll look for, and what I hear from parents, is we'll do accommodations. And when I say accommodations, I'm thinking about accommodations. Everything from we'll give you extended time, we'll give you maybe some notes, some differentiated notes. We'll do some summary documents, a host of other things that we list, right? Accommodations, my goodness. Colleague David Bateman literally has a 36 or 52-page document with half of those pages are a list of accommodations. They're countless, and they go into all sorts of different categorical, everything from test accommodations to learning accommodations, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm rambling about this because this is where I think artificial intelligence becomes a key factor to facilitating what we have done traditionally to facilitate inclusion to make it even more efficient and more effective. And when I think about accommodations, increasingly I think about balls. Yeah, a variety of different balls. And where am I going with this? Well, I think of our learners, and let's call it Susan. Susan has a need. Now, Susan needs an accommodation based on whatever the need is. And let's say her accommodation is fairly small. It's not too demanding. It's kind of lightweight. It's a ping pong ball. Lightweight, not hard for us to be able to manage, etc. Great, all right? But then JJ comes along and he needs a tennis ball. Something a little bit bigger, something a little bit harder for us to be able to manipulate and be able to utilize. Okay, so now we got a ping pong ball, we got a tennis ball. And let's say we have a few more Susans. We have Maria, we have Jessica, we have Bonnie, and all those individuals need ping pong balls. Okay, so now we have 3 or 4 ping pong balls, we have a tennis ball, and then we have someone coming along, let's say Nolan. And Nolan needs a soccer ball. Nolan needs some significant accommodations. So now I'm juggling some tennis balls, some ping pong balls, a soccer ball. I'm getting pretty overwhelmed with my juggling. But that's how we often look at accommodations. I'm going to offer this accommodation for this individual, another accommodation for another individual, and next thing I know, I'm juggling a number of balls, and each one's a little different for those individuals. But from an artificial intelligence perspective, several things come to light for me that potentially will allow me to create right on the get-go, so very efficient and very effective, resources that could be that ping pong ball, the tennis ball, and the soccer ball. Now let's think of one tool, an AI tool, and there's countless others out there, right? And many of us are doing that right now in respect to what we're offering for various types of accommodations. We're using ChatGPT, etc. But let me reinforce one called Diffit. And Diffit, let me introduce it to you here. So you see Diffit. Diffit, and I've already started with it, will allow you to do a variety of different things. Now, in this instance, and I'll back up for just a moment, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to take this video, and I could do a Word document, I could do a website, I could do a PDF. I wanted to take a video, and I wanted to take this video on 3 branches of government. And I took that video, and I copied and pasted it in to Diffit, and Diffit then generated a variety of resources. And to me, these are my ping pong balls. These are my tennis balls. This may be parts of my soccer ball. And what it automatically did, first of all, is it gave me a variety of visuals. Now, some of those visuals came from the actual video. But other videos came from a variety of different places to break down the basic elements of what was being introduced in this, how long is it? This 5-minute and 23-second segment about the three branches of government. I didn't create this three branches of government. I watched it, I liked it, and said, gosh, could we get some visuals to represent what it was sharing? And here are some visuals that it pulled from, okay? In addition, what it said is it took the video and it brought it into a summary, into a reading passage. And into the reading passage, it grabbed this, and by the way, I asked for it to do it at the 5th grade reading level. So I was able to select that. And I'm going to back up and show you how I can get that set up in just a moment, but let's focus on what it created instead. Now, by the way, if you haven't noticed, I can copy this text and then take it and manipulate it into, I could share it as a Google Doc, I could share it into a host of other places or resources. I could edit it. Maybe there's some language I still don't like. Maybe there's things like Kaylee that is not necessary. Maybe there's some general information that I like. I'm going to delete and I'm going to keep the rest. All right, so I edit it. I can change words. And here's the summary. And by the way, the summary I can copy and edit as well. So here are my 3 primary points that the artificial intelligence says was critical in the video. And then from there, it took key vocabulary words. And again, I can add vocabulary words, I can edit, I can copy, I can change, I can take where I need to. There's my multiple choice questions. Again, questions that came from, okay, I can show the answers to be able to move along. I have short answer questions. I have open-ended prompts to be able to potentially facilitate some discussion or interaction. And the host of things goes on. Now, with that, I could also, though, let's go ahead and take reading vocabulary. And so here, I could now generate, let's go ahead and customize this. I could open this up, and now it's giving me a structure. So, for example, key vocabulary. Here's my legislation. Here's my noun. Here's what it means. The use in a sentence, image to represent. I could change all this. I could edit this. I could change the vocabulary activity. I could change what is here. But also, I could alter and edit these elements here. But what it's done is it's created a cheat sheet, a vocabulary list, a review guide, whatever you want to call it, to allow for the individual now to be able to practice, to be able to get the big ideas, to get the essential elements. And oh, by the way, I could do this across, and let me go ahead and select this. I could do this across summarizing. I could do this across vocabulary, and I could use different strategies with the vocabulary. By the way, I selected, I think, a choice board a moment ago, and these go on. I could do this across a reading strategy for some comprehension aspects. I could do this across a writing, text analysis, collaboration, critical thinking. You're getting the hang of it, right? And so with that, so let's say critical thinking, for example. Again, with the critical thinking, I'm going to go ahead and customize the critical thinking. And, there we go, my cause and effect. And reading to take notes, etc. So all these are available to me, and then from that I can edit, I can export it, I can play with it how I want. So this is all starting with, and let's go ahead and go back. This all starts with, and let's go back to Diffit here. No, I didn't want to do that. That's my Google account. Let's just start new. There we go. This all starts with the fact that I selected, in this instance, I selected a video, or I could do an article, any text, but I started with literally the video. So let's go ahead and show that again. So I copied it. I'll copy that. And I'll go ahead and paste it here. So we'll just paste it here. And there we go. Now, before I press return, I can go and say, you know what? I want it to be at the fifth grade reading level. And I'm not sure that last one very well may have not been selected at the 5th grade reading level. So I could do it the 2nd grade, 4th grade. I could do it all the way up to the 11th grade plus. But let's do it at the 5th grade reading level. I could select from different languages. I'm going to keep with my English. And then it will generate the resources. And as I mentioned a moment ago, you saw that. But let's take a look at it one last time as it then generates it. And in this instance, the visuals will pop in. You'll see similar visuals to what we just saw a moment ago. You'll see a little less text though. So I guess the first time I did not select the 5th grade reading level. Now I have, so it's less text, more comprehensive. Again, I can edit and change it, and the whole host of things I mentioned a moment ago stay the same, except of course it's at the 5th grade reading level. So Diffit is just one of several artificial intelligence tools out there that we as educators can use. Now, I offered it as an inclusionary tool because instead of having to work with all those ping pong balls and tennis balls and big soccer balls when it comes to taking a presentation and changing it into note format, changing it into key ideas, summarizing it, allowing it to be a study guide, that's a lot of work on my part. And instead, the artificial intelligence will do it. Now, again, I've watched the video. Maybe I created the video and the artificial intelligence needs some modification, needs some editing. Again, that's what Diff is going to allow me to do. So if I don't like the word choice, so if I want to emphasize a few other things, it's taken and done the heavy lift. And now, of course, I can modify it from there. One of multiple tools, countless tools in a way, that will save me time for things like accommodations to further support individuals with disabilities. And by the way, I'll leave us with this. I don't know how many educators I work with will say, I don't know how to take my big ideas and bring it into a way to help my learners that really struggle, or I don't have the time, or honestly, I don't believe in giving them some of these resources. Well, the beauty with the artificial intelligence is it allows us, without any additional support on our part, any expertise on our part, to recreate and provide these and make them available at the level that we feel most comfortable for, as a general education teacher, as a special education teacher, as a parent, as someone giving assistance to an individual struggling learner, those with disabilities, etc. Hopefully this is a short little tidbit, gave you a brief idea of the artificial intelligence, what it can do, and have a great rest of the day.